Have you been watching the real estate market in the greater Tampa Bay area and wondering what it's like these days? Well, in this video, I'm going to go into great detail about just that, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, Living in Tampa, where it's my goal to show you everything you need to know about eating, sleeping, playing, and living in the greater Tampa Bay area. If it's your first time here, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button right there, ring that little bell so you'll be notified every time that I release a new video. I would really appreciate that, it helps me out a lot. Did you know that 67% of Americans think the real estate market is headed for a crash? Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea it was that high. In fact, almost everyone that I talk to on a day-to-day basis is kind of waiting for that crash to happen. But here's what's interesting. All of the real estate experts that I follow are actually predicting just the opposite of that. They're not predicting a crash at all. So I don't know where this disparity is coming from. I think there's just a lot of angst and a lot of fear about the market doing kind of a repeat of what happened back in 2008. But there's a lot of reasons that I'm going to show you that I don't think that's the case, at least not here in the greater Tampa Bay area. So let's get started with that. My number one reason that I think that it's not going to head for a crash in the Tampa Bay area and really in the rest of the nation as well is that the lending regulations have really changed. So if you tried to get a mortgage back in like 2005 or 2006, 7, 8, all of those times, it was super easy to get a mortgage. You could self-report your income. You didn't have to show your tax returns. It was basically sign on the dotted line and you got the mortgage. There wasn't much to the qualification process. And they actually qualified people for a lot more money than they should have as well. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. Personally, when we went to go get a mortgage here not too long ago, I'm going to tell you, I agree with a lot of my customers in that you feel almost violated when you're trying to get a mortgage now. They are checking everything. They are very, very thorough, and any little thing that doesn't seem right, you have to either provide additional documentation for, or you have to write a letter of explanation. They check literally everything. They even call your employer the day of the closing or the day before to make sure that nothing has changed with your employment status. So there's so many safety checks in place to make sure that the people who are taking out these mortgages actually have the ability to repay them, that I think that the risk of foreclosures is actually pretty low. Which is a great segue to my second point as to why I think the market is not heading for a crash is the foreclosures are relatively low. Of course, every market has foreclosures. That's always going to happen, but we're not seeing this big wave of foreclosures that everyone is predicting. We are seeing foreclosures increase for sure because of other factors, not so much the loan being able to pay the loan because of the qualification process, but we're seeing people that have, lost their jobs or maybe they're not getting paid as much. Inflation is making it very difficult for them to keep up with their bills, and those kind of things are causing some foreclosures. But we're not having people who are extremely upside down in their homes that are just walking away from them like they were back in 2008. In fact, most people have a significant amount of equity in their home right now. Most people are not going to be willing to walk away from that. A classic example that I like to share is I recently sold a home to a young couple and they were, borderline comfortable with their payments. It was a little bit more than what they really wanted to pay, but it was the neighborhood they wanted to be in, and they did qualify for that. The long story short, they got into the home and they loved the neighborhood. They're very happy there, but they are stretched now with their budget, especially since gas prices have gone up and groceries have gone up and everything of that nature, that they were thinking about selling their home. And when I looked at how much equity they had already gotten just in a short 6-month period, they were actually very, very shocked. And they were able to sell that home and walk away with money. So there was never any question that they were going to have to foreclose on that home because they were in such a great equity position. And there are so many people across the US and in particular in the Tampa area that are in a very positive equity position. So yes, there will be foreclosures, but I don't think there's going to be a wave of foreclosures. I think it's just going to be the small trickle that we always have just in a normal market. Now, my next point, and the reason that I think that the market is not headed for a crash, is our inventory levels. Our inventory levels here in the Tampa Bay area have increased dramatically. However, we are still not at a healthy level for inventory. A stable market, a normal, if you will, real estate market is 6 months worth of inventory, and we are still significantly below that. We only have 4 months worth of inventory available here in the greater Tampa Bay area. So that leads me to believe that where there's still a lot more demand than there is supply, and in that case, you're not going to see the prices go down. It's just the basic laws of supply and demand, and that hasn't changed even with this big market change that we've seen with these increased interest rates. Yes, the market slowed down for several months. Buyers were a little like, let me wait and see what's going to happen. The monthly payment that I was planning to pay for these homes has just almost doubled. I don't know if I can do this. But now, the rates have calmed down a little bit. The buyers are coming back into the market. Sellers are having to be realistic with their home price and not overprice their homes. But I think we're seeing more of just a normal, regular, healthy market. So I do not think that there is a crash coming. Now, next, I want to go into the latest market stats for the greater Tampa Bay area. All these figures are going to be based on the MLS numbers that we receive on a monthly basis. The latest ones just came out, and I wanted to share those with you so you could get a first-hand look at what's going on in the greater Tampa Bay market. I'm going to throw the graph up here on my screen and share that with you so you can see these numbers for yourself. It's going to give you a really good picture of what the market in Tampa is looking like right now. And keep in mind, these numbers are from January, so it takes a little bit of time for these numbers to be collected before they're shared with us. So there's a little bit of a lag, but it's only a few weeks. So this should give you a really good, clear picture of what the market is like right now. So let's get to it. Active listings. That is the first thing here. So we have in January of 23, 39,680 active listings. If you look at that compared to last month, it's not up very much. It's up just a little bit. When you look back the entire year, my goodness, what a change. It has gone up 112%. And some people might think, oh my gosh, this is like crazy and this is terrible. But when you look at the other figures, you're going to see that we still don't have enough. So we do need more sellers to put their home on the market. Next, let's get into new listings, and this gives a clearer picture of that. And you can see that it's actually down 2% in January compared to January 22. So it's, although it went up compared to December by 40%, it's still down by 2%. So it has slowed down a little bit. Hopefully, there's just people that are getting their homes ready. I think a lot of people wait until the spring to list their homes. So that's another thing that I think is changing here in the Tampa Bay area. These past 2 years with the pandemic and all the craziness with the housing shortage, the market never really slowed down. So typically in Tampa, my slowest months for real estate used to be, and I've been selling real estate in Tampa since 2005, used to be starting around the holidays. It just really got slow. November, December, January, February were like the slowest months. And then in March, April, spring, summer, those are the busiest months for sure. So I think we're just getting back to more of a normal market, if you will. And I think that kind of explains a little bit of this lower number here. I think a lot of people are holding off until the spring to list their home. If you are a seller, I would say it would give you an advantage to go ahead and list your home now, because once spring hits, I think the competition is going to be even fiercer than what it is now to get your home sold. So anyway, let's get back to these numbers. Pending sales, if you look at the current pending sales, 18,560 homes pending in the greater Tampa Bay area, and that is up 40% compared to 22. December of 22, but it's down compared to January of 22. And then the listings sold, those are both down. So you see there is definitely less volume of sales. More listings out there, but fewer sales happening, which leads me to my next number and shows the average ADOM. That stands for average days on market. So those are up. And as you can see, when there's more homes on the market, more homes for buyers to choose from, everything just takes a little bit longer. So if you are looking to sell your home, you need to factor that in. It used to be, these past couple years, put your home on the market, the next day you're gonna have a contract, if not the same day, sometimes within hours. That's not happening anymore. And sellers are having a little bit of a hard time waking up to this reality, but this used to be what I told people all the time. Let's plan on 3 or 4 months, your home, it taking for your home to get listed, time on market and time to close should be probably in the 3 to 4 month period. That used to be very, very typical. So we're just getting closer to that norm again. So the average days on market, 45 days now. Again, that was down as low as 7 in our stats. But in all reality, for most homes, it was down to 1 day. Moving on to the sales volume, again, this supports all the other numbers. It's down. However, this is the best number for the sellers for sure. And even for the buyer. I mean, you don't want to be buying a home when you think the home prices are going to drop. That's not the case. The average sales price is actually up 7% when compared to January of 22. It's up from 403,848 all the way up to 430,279. So in December, there was no change on that when you look at that compared to January. The prices are pretty stable, and I am expecting that to stay that way. So a lot of buyers are saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the prices to go down, wait for the interest rates to go down. Well, you might be waiting a very long time because I don't know that the prices really are going to go down here in Tampa. I think the interest rates will go down, but again, you can always refinance to get your interest rate down. So if you're needing to move or thinking about moving, it's kind of a prime time for you to buy right now because you've got a little bit more to choose from. Sellers are having to negotiate a little bit. They're having to do a little bit more to get their homes ready for the market. So I think it's a lot better time to buy now than it has been in the past couple of years. Now, moving on to the final figure here on my stats, I've already discussed this, but just to reiterate, months of inventory, we're up to 4 months. Again, a healthy market is 6 months. So looking at the Tampa Bay market, if you are considering buying or selling a home, I think either one right now is a good time to do that. I'm going to reiterate my reasons why. One, if you're looking to sell, if you do it now, you're going to have less competition than you're going to have in the spring and summer when a lot of people are waiting to put their houses on the market until closer to when school is out and they don't have to displace their children and things like that. So if you don't have a reason that you need to stay put a little bit longer, I would most definitely go ahead and put my house on the market sooner rather than later. And if you're looking to buy, same thing. Yes, the rates are high, but you do have more to choose from and you can easily refinance your rate at a later time. So if you're considering making a move, please go ahead and give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. Whichever method of communication you prefer is fine with me. When it comes to moving to Tampa, I've got your back. Hey, one more time, I'm going to ask a big favor. If you could please hit that subscribe button. It truly helps me out and I appreciate it so much. I hope this video was helpful and I'll see you next time.